Hi, and welcome to Cboe Digital TV, where we talk about all things crypto. I'm Katherine Kirkpatrick, Chief Legal Officer of Cboe Digital, and today I have with me Travis Schwab, our CEO of Eventus. Travis, thank you so much for being here today.
Wonderful to be here. Thank you, Katherine.
Well, tell me, you've been around for 10 years, and I know even to this day you have crypto clients and customers, but you also have TradFi clients and customers. Tell me about the difference about approaching these two markets from a market surveillance perspective.
Sure. And we started really in U.S. equities way back in the day when we started, and we thought, if we get the most prescriptive asset class sorted, everything else will be a little easier theoretically, and that's kind of the case, kind of not the case. And so a lot of the lessons that we've learned in the traditional asset classes, really help on the digital side of things as well. When we first started in digital assets, 2018, 2017, it was interesting, right? That running 24 hours a day is a different dynamic compared to the traditional asset classes and traditional exchanges. And so we had to change the way we were running the software to be able to handle those different run times. Even just the amount of data, obviously, Cboe Digital, lots of data, but in the digital space, the amount of data is huge just because you can have such small increments of value. So just even building larger columns in our screens to be able to handle the larger values was something that we had to do. In general, though, the behaviors that we're looking for, the way the software works is it's ingesting data, it's looking for different behaviors, are really not that different. And in fact, within the digital space, those behaviors are a little more simplistic, actually, than the TradFi, because those folks have had decades to hone their craft in manipulation as compared to the younger folks there in the crypto space. And so there's differences, but there's also a lot of commonalities there that help us as well. And then finally, from a regulatory standpoint, the pace of change within the digital space, within the crypto space, is really unprecedented compared to the traditional asset classes. And so having to keep up with those new rules, having to deal with that constantly changing, evolving marketplace is always difficult to do, but something that we work with our clients to do.
Never a dull moment.
No, not at all.
You mentioned this a little bit. Crypto is a less sophisticated market, some would argue, or it's not as mature.
It's younger, definitely.
It's younger.
Absolutely.
It's not as mature. It's nascent.
Yeah.
However, there's a degree of transparency in crypto that a lot of people will point to. The fact that you can see the movement of transactions on a real-time basis. And you might have disclosures with public companies in the equity context, but the flow of funds with crypto is just more radically visible.
Yeah.
Does that factor into how you're looking at the market, surveilling the market from the digital asset perspective?
That's a great question. And, it is something that I talk about a lot, is there is no more transparent asset class than digital on the face of the planet. You cannot even come close. It doesn't matter what it is. That doesn't seem to sway the regulators that much as I think it should. But it is very transparent. What's interesting is there is kind of a bifurcated area of that market, not to get into the rabbit hole too much, but really there's two pieces of surveillance when you look at the coins themselves or the transaction, right? You have a lot of the on-chain analytics, so know your coin, know where it was mined, know all the steps that it was taken, which a blockchain allows you to look at completely. But once that coin is at an exchange, a CFI, a DeFi, whatever that is, then those behaviors are just like any other future option, equity, and everything else. That's where we play, is we're looking at all that on-exchange activity and seeing how those trades are happening. We work with a whole bunch of different companies that are doing on-chain analytics. And you can link those two worlds and try to inform each other's systems. And so I think that is unique as compared to other parts of the capital markets trading system. You really don't have that difference, and you don't have that requirement to know your coin. There is no know your British pound or know your equity option. It's kind of known. But that is one of the, again, uniquenesses about the digital space, is that know your coin aspect, know your customer aspect, and merging or combining those two worlds between on-chain analytics and what we do on off-chain is an interesting dynamic, and we work with a lot of good partners to do that.
And what do you see happening not only to your business, but monitoring and, kind of market surveillance more broadly when you look at the growth of the digital asset ecosystem? Obviously, I'm hoping for exponential growth in the
Yeah, of
very near
course.
term.
So
We're all
here,
hoping
here.
for growth. It's a nascent asset class. There's more and more institutional engagement despite volatility of 2022. How is that going to change your business if we do see that growth, that bull market that we're all waiting for?
Yeah, right. Just going back a couple of years, I think. Yeah, exactly. Here, right here. For us, it's hard now. Like right now, the crypto firms are under a lot of pressure. They're either under pressure from the business and the price depression, the shifting ground underneath their feet, not quite knowing what to do where. So I think it's hard. It's kind of tough sledding right now. But for us, we're well positioned, really short, medium, long term. Again, markets never get less regulated. We know, at least from a U.S. Regulatory policy, pretty aggressive right now. Where that goes, I don't know. We're very bullish on hopefully the ETF, and I think that's going to help the ETFs getting approved in general. And I think that's going to, again, kind of grow the asset class that much more, or grow the interest in the asset class that much more. For our business, we try to remain very balanced, and we don't go with the flow. But for us, what we say is we've seen this movie before, right? We know what we're doing. It doesn't matter kind of if it's equities we have people using our technology to surveil health insurance claims or music derivatives or equity options or Bitcoin or ETH futures. It doesn't matter to us because it's an asset class. It's a growing asset class. The rules are going to change all the time, but there are things that are kind of tried and true that we can lever going forward. And so we kind of try to be that eye in the middle of the storm all around, because there's always regulatory pressures happening. And if you can just take a moment and think about being penny wise, and really think about kind of the next year, the couple of years, I think you can take a lot of good steps.
Oftentimes, you do see an increase in attempted manipulation or attempted wrongdoing in times of extreme volatility. And we do have an environment where we're in crypto winter, we're in a bear market. We had a lot of a tumultuous time in 2022. Have you been seeing more interest from clients now because of some potential concerns about a reaction to this environment?
Yeah, it's a great question. Yes and no. I think there's there's a group of digital firms like Cboe Digital who are proactive, right? Who are taking that regulatory first approach, that are absolutely, pushing where they need to go from a, system, infrastructure, policies, procedures, all the things that you want to see in a exchange or market center versus there's a whole group that are they're going to focus on a small section of the market. They don't care about attracting maybe institutional type players, so they don't care. And so we're not going to probably ever talk to those folks. And I still think, so there's going to be this continual kind of, I think there's going to be a bunch of winners and a whole bigger group of losers in this space, because at some point when you had crypto at $40,000, $50,000, $60,000, there were 800 venues around the world. I think that number is going to dramatically collapse, and it already has gone down dramatically, to where people who are going to invest in the right infrastructure, the right policies, procedures, people that know what they're talking about, are going to be the ones that are going to last and get the investment and get the participation that they need. And so I think probably the market is going to be a little bit smaller, but higher quality over the course of time.
And I think that will be a good thing. I mean,
Absolutely.
It's going to happen organically.
100%.
I think as a market participant in crypto, I want the bad actors to go away.
Yes, we all do. That's right.
They're doing a disservice to the growth of the ecosystem. And I think it's part of the natural maturation of digital assets to have this kind of like these extreme ups and downs to get a smaller
Need
universe.
that purge happening all the time, right?
Yep.
And again, everyone, I think there's always this fixation, what's happening in crypto. Every asset class, again, every piece of the asset of our capital markets goes through these ebbs and flows, purges, and feasts and famines. And crypto, I feel like it's compressed a little bit. It seems like it's going faster than some of these other asset classes. But there's sometimes a little bit. There needs to be more patience as it relates to as this maturation process happens, and watch it, because people have to work through these things. And even the tech stacks that we deal with on a daily basis, the ones that we first started, 2018, were very immature, and right, the matching engines even that they're working with were not ready for prime time. And just these huge leaps that have taken place over the last 4 or 5 years. It's amazing to watch, and that's really due to quality people coming in, a lot of investment, but it's still very early.
Travis, this has been an amazing conversation. One of the things we always ask our guests here is, what is your craziest prediction, or any prediction for that matter, about what is going to happen in digital assets in the next year, 2 years, 5 years?
Yeah, the time spans. It hurts the brain to even think about 5 years, let alone 6 months.
Probably hurts the brain to make any prediction, which is why we like to put people on the spot.
No, it's great. For me, I will go a little short term. Crazy is it, unfortunately, I do not think ETFs are going to be approved within a year. So I don't know if that's crazy or not, because there's been such a interest in and a lot more quality filings from all sorts of different folks on the ETF side. I still don't think it's going to get approved over the next 12 months, unfortunately. So that's a prediction that I don't want to have come true, but I think that's unfortunately going to be the case, at least here in the States.
I hope you're wrong.
I do too.
Because Cboe has a hand in many of those.
I know they do.
But I appreciate the perspective. All perspectives are important.
Yeah, no, I don't want it to be right. I think that's going to be.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, that's what
I
it is.
appreciate that.
Okay.
Travis, thank you so much for your time today.
Thanks for having me.
And thank you all so much for joining us this time on Cboe Digital TV.